Now you should be focusing on the practices of Judaism. The place of worship in Judaism is a synagogue or a temple. Here is a list of the top 10 synagogues or temples in New York. Please feel free to pause and read a little more about each one. Like other world religions, Judaism has dietary rules. They don't eat pork or meat and milk mixtures. First, I'd like to bring your attention to the upper right-hand corner of the screen. There are four facts here about the dietary restrictions of the Jewish laws. Kashrut is the body of Jewish law dealing with what foods we can and cannot eat and how these foods must be prepared and eaten. Kosher is another word for it. Although the details of kashrut are extensive, the laws all derive from a few fairly simple, straightforward rules. Certain animals may not be eaten at all. This restriction includes the flesh, organs, eggs, and milk of the forbidden animals. Number 2, of the animals that may be eaten, the birds and mammals must be killed in accordance with Jewish law. Number 3, all blood must be drained from meat and poultry or broiled out of it before it is eaten. Number 4, certain parts of permitted animals may not be eaten. Number 5, fruits and vegetables are permitted but must be inspected for bugs, which cannot be eaten. Number 6, meat, the flesh of birds and mammals, cannot be eaten with dairy. Fish, eggs, fruits, vegetables, and grains can be eaten with either meat or dairy. According to some views, fish may not be eaten with meat. Number 7, utensils, including pots and pans and other cooking surfaces that have come into contact with meat may not be used with dairy and vice versa. Utensils that have come into contact with non-kosher foods may not be used with kosher food. This applies only where the contact occurred while the food was hot. Number 8, grape products made by non-Jews may not be eaten. And number 9, there are a few other rules that are not universal. If you are interested in learning more about these rules, this website is www.jashrut.htm. The Jewish holy day is Saturday. Jewish tradition teaches us that there are 613 commandments. This is a list of the 613 commandments. Some are about God, some about the Torah. By the way, please feel free to click pause and read more about these at any time. Some are about signs and symbols, others are about prayer and blessings. There are many for love and brotherhood, the poor and unfortunate, and treatment of Gentiles. The list goes on. Notice we're only in the 50s and 60s here, and we have to get through 613. If you'd like to see the full list, please go to this website. It is www.jewfac.org/613.htm. These commandments can be found in the Torah, or written law, and Talmud, or oral law. The oral law is a legal commentary on the Torah, explaining how its commandments are to be carried out. Common sense suggests that some sort of oral tradition was always needed to accompany the written law, because the Torah alone, even with its 613 commandments, is an insufficient guide to Jewish life. Without an oral tradition, some of the Torah's laws would be hard to understand. Finally, an oral law was needed to mitigate certain categorical Torah laws that would have caused grave problems if carried out literally. The written law, for example, demands an eye for an eye. Did this imply that if one person accidentally blinded another, he should be blinded in return? That seems to be the Torah's wish, but the oral law explains that the verse must be understood as requiring monetary compensation. The value of an eye is what must be paid. Dress and symbols. Here are some examples of Jewish dress. The kippah, or skull cap, special clothing, kittel, doily, tefillin, shtrimiel, tzitzit, kinds of kippot, talit, rekel. Here are some examples of Jewish symbols. Please feel free to pause and read a little more about any of the following signs and symbols. In Judaism, proper mixed gender relations must be maintained. Some of their holy days or celebrations are Rosh Hashanah, Hanukkah, and bar or bat mitzvahs. Please push pause and open a new window for YouTube and search what makes Rosh Hashanah beautiful. This is a fun music video that'll talk to you about Rosh Hashanah. You should also search Rosh Hashanah Rock Anthem. This is another fun song that explains a little more about that celebration. After you've watched the music videos, search The Story of Hanukkah on YouTube. Watch the short 2-minute, 15-second video. Then return to this video and finish your notes. I'd like to call your attention to the top right-hand corner of the screen. There are 3 facts there that are good for you to read and know about bar or bat mitzvahs. Bar mitzvah literally means son of the commandment. Bar is son in Aramaic, which used to be the vernacular of the Jewish people. Mitzvah is commandment in both Hebrew and Aramaic. Bat is daughter in Hebrew and Aramaic. Technically, the term refers to the child who is coming of age, and it is strictly correct to refer to someone as becoming a bar or bat mitzvah. However, the term is more commonly used to refer to the coming of age ceremony itself, and you are more likely to hear that someone is having a bar mitzvah or invited to a bar mitzvah. So, what does it mean to become a bar mitzvah? Under Jewish law, children are not obligated to observe the commandments, although they are encouraged to do so as much as possible to learn the obligations they will have as adults. At the age of 13, 12 for girls, children become obligated to observe the commandments. The bar mitzvah ceremony formally, publicly, marks the assumption of that obligation, along with the corresponding right to take part in leading religious services, to count in a minyan, the minimum number of people needed to perform certain parts of religious services, to form binding contracts, to testify before religious courts, and to marry. If you'd like to read a little more, please click pause now and read a little more about a bar mitzvah. All right, the last note I have for you for Judaism is that they're not concerned with the world to come. They put more focus on good deeds. You should now have the Judaism column of your beliefs and practices chart complete. If you do not, take a few minutes now to finish up. If you did not choose to watch the videos for Rosh Hashanah, Hanukkah, and Bar Mitzvah, or not Bar Mitzvah, I'm sorry, just the two here, I encourage you to do so now. They are full of information and not boring to watch.